Here at the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge in the shallow bays of the Texas coast, you can find one of the rarest birds in North America. The endangered whooping crane.
This is a species that almost went extinct. I mean, it was almost gone forever from the face of the earth. Depending on what estimates, we can count on 14 or 16 individuals were alive in 1941. And that almost disappeared. I mean, we still have a very small population, 300. A species that was almost gone is slowly coming back. Yeah, there seems to be a gap.
Meet biologist Felipe Chavez Ramirez. Veterinarian Barry Hardup.
Just something we made out of necessity, I guess.
And biologist Dave Brandt.
They were here.
They hope to do something that's never been done before.
See how he's got one foot in, don't he?
To trap adult whooping cranes. The plan is to put transmitters on the cranes and track them with satellite GPS technology. The team is working with Wade Harrell from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
We're going to learn a lot in terms of new places that they use that we didn't know about before. So I think there'll be a real paradigm shift in how we manage and conserve whooping cranes going forward.
It's like they may not have come until later in the morning.
The first step is to get the birds to come close to the trap.
Looks like they're approaching, and there they say, hey, there's a good pile of corn here. Let's have breakfast.
We've been baiting these birds for 3 weeks now or more, getting them to the spot. Right in the middle, so they have to reach. And the whole key to this is the fact that they're not quite comfortable.
The trap that we're using right now is basically a leg snare.
I put wet sand along the sides.
It basically consists of a loop made of monofilament that we put in a hole that we've previously made on the ground.
Then we start baiting that depression, and hopefully they get into it and start behaving the way we need them to behave for actual capture.
All right. See you in a few.
While Felipe climbs into this blind,
so there's a lot of birds in the area all of a sudden.
Barry and the rest of the team stage in a nearby truck.
So now it's a waiting game.
The hope is this study will help answer some questions.
Something about how they're growing up. Are they growing up with a lot of problems, and that's why there are so few of the cranes, or is there something that we can do beyond working to conserve their winter and summering habitat? Are there some additional steps that we can take?
On this evening, the whoopers didn't fall for the trap.
Even another 10 or 15, I guess, and then call it a day.
We'll call it. They never went for the corn.
Trapping may have hit a snag.
There's a family pair out there. You see them?
Yep.
But some science on surroundings is underway.
What we're doing right now is doing a habitat assessment of the area. We're going in to look at the different vegetation types to see what kind of areas the whooping cranes like to stay in.
All right, stakes in.
How many segments have any vegetation covering them?
4.
Okay.
This is just an easy way to get a general idea of the thickness of the vegetation and the height of the vegetation.
Even though they are an endangered species and they've been worked on for a long time, there's not a lot known about what they prefer to do on their day-to-day activities. So this kind of helps us get a little better data on where they're actually spending their time. 5.
Okay, got it.
And one thing the habitat study shows, the crane's health goes hand in hand with the health of this salt marsh.
Salt marshes are extremely productive ecosystems. So there's just an enormous amount of crustaceans, crabs, shrimp, small fish. So there's a tremendous food resource that they rely on here.
Right out there is our marsh. If you look, they're feeding on blue crabs.
Bordering the salt marsh of the refuge is the Johnson Ranch. Diane Johnson and her family have put the land into a conservation easement. The easement ensures that this land will never be developed.
We have a conservation easement because we want to preserve the habitat for the whooping cranes and for all the other animals and keep this bit of land natural. It will never change. Our land is on St. Charles Bay, which is 240 acres of wetlands for the whooping crane.
This prime coastal habitat will always be protected.
We're surrounded by nature, and I think it's our duty to keep that going. I mean, to keep that wild. I think it's important. Importante.
Across the bay at the refuge, it's early morning, and Dave is in the blind.
Okay, boys, get ready.
Got a bird, got a bird.
Got a bird, got a bird, got a bird.
The flagging on your right. That's right here. Yeah, I think you have the dominant male in your hand. Okay, good.
Okay, PTT ID 134349. We attach these with two types of adhesion. First one is glue, secondary will be pop rivets, so it's pretty much a permanent transmitter. My feelings is I think that this project has long been needed. There's been, very little information, scientifically concrete information that's been gathered on these birds. This is enabling us to really concretely say, or specifically say, yes, here's where these birds are stopping, here's how long they're spending here. So it's some groundbreaking stuff.
Taking a look here to see what kind of condition his feathers are in, his flight feathers. These are his outer primaries.
What we're doing with capturing adult birds on the Aransas Refuge has never been done before.
7.24.
So we're learning a lot about these birds in terms of their movements, their survival, their overall health, what we can do to further their protection and conservation into the future. Okay, we're good.
You can go now. Oh yeah, he's good.
We've got a pair of whooping cranes here. One adult here in the pair is green over black color band, blue radio band. I think they're doing well.
In all, the team banded 37 adult whooping cranes.
2011-07.
This project gives us very fine-scale, detailed habitat information. So we can actually go and look at locations where the birds have been, find out what type of vegetation is there, what type of food sources are there. So we really begin to better understand what the birds need day in and day out, from their nesting area in Canada all the way down here to Texas.
This is the last stronghold of the wild whooping crane flock. So it's very important from that perspective. This is the core. I'd really feel a connection to it, and I would like to do as much as I can to help the species. And I think this is one good way to get there.